as well for you folks on YouTube watching live. So a severe thunderstorm warning until 1:15 in the morning. It's moving east-northeast at 40 miles per hour, you see there. Considerable damage threat from this storm. If you're in Oslo, get the vehicle in the garage and make sure, again, you get away from those windows as this storm comes through. There could be some pretty damaging winds that come from this cell as well as it works its way into the Oslo area. And again, that movement at 40 miles per hour, we'll time it into your communities here so you have a little bit to do. I'm holding my cell phone for my TikTok viewers out there, and also, so I got a lot of stuff going on here, but moving at about 40 miles per hour. These are the communities in the path of this storm. If you are in Ardok, 1231, the storm will be near you, 1233, on out towards the Manville area. Minto and Oslo around 1235 to 1241, and this is some big-time hail potential from this cell as it works its way through Forest River. Notice that in Minto, most of the heavy hail core right here just to the south of the Minto area. But again, very large hail potential from this cell as it works its way through. Not everyone's going to get the huge hail. Not everybody's going to get the 60 mile per hour gusts, but some of you could. Thanks so much for following me here on my YouTube channel. That's been growing like a weed in Hutch's backyard. And I tell you what, I got more than I want right now. So thank you very much. Appreciate all of you for joining me and then follow me on all of my channels. Thank you for your overtime hours, says Kathy on Facebook. Thank you for watching on Hutch's Weather. If you're on my YouTube channel and on the YouTube stream, I appreciate your subscriptions there as well. All right, now look at this. Up near the Karlstad area right here, we do have a thunder shower that's working its way. This has developed and was raining much of the day up in the northern parts near the international border. So from Kitson County and Roseau County, it's just been garden variety showers with a couple burps of thunder out of them. That's about it. But those are getting a little stronger now too. These south winds are fueling these storms with a little bit more energy as we go into the evening hours. So we'll watch that activity. Now let's get back to the west just a little bit. There were thunderstorm warnings for Carrington, and for the Cooperstown area, we have a strong cluster making its way towards you. It is presently not severe, and it is presently not warned for, but this line is moving off to the east now, and it's moving at about 35 miles per hour. So I'll go ahead and time this out for you. The hail core down here, south of Kensal, right here, you can see my thumb pointing at it, not approaching the Wimbledon and Hannaford areas. That storm cell, that would be the hail core I'd worry about right now. Now, again, this line is kind of meandering this way. It's a big line of storms moving off to the east, northeast at only about 30 miles per hour. We'll put it in Wimbledon by the time we get to 1236, Leal by 1238. Daisy, how about 1254 for you, and on towards Sibley at 116. So that's what's going on. TikTok, I just want to let you know we have some thunderstorm chances even into Minnesota as we go through the overnight hours. So if thunder rumbles into your neighborhood, there's a chance that those storms could go severe. We have had thunderstorms produce 100 mile per hour winds in South Dakota tonight. We have not seen that yet in North Dakota, and I hope that we do not. But we are getting this potential for some serious size hail from a couple of these cells as they work their way through. Now, Carrington, it's been storming for you all night, and look, it's training through. In other words, another car or thunderstorm train is coming into Carrington now. That's going to stay south of New Rockford, but there is a little activity outside of Fessenden here that's moving in your area there. For you Eddy County folks, as you dip down into southern parts of Wells County, that's where most of the activity has been tonight. Because these storms are what we call training, one after the other, choo-choo, heavy rainfall potential is going to be in these areas. And I do anticipate there could be the potential for some flooding to take place. Thanks, Devin, for your kind words. I sure appreciate it. Now, there was a warning out in that Oliver County area for this little pimple out here near the Beulah and Hazen area, and that moved through the Oliver County area near center. I'm going to turn on the Bismarck radar, and you can see we have a smattering of smud on the radar here. That's this stuff right here. The blue boxes are an advisory kind of type report from the Weather Service. It's really just a statement from the Weather Service that these storms are strong. So here's where they're moving, and here's what we have going on in these areas. So pardon me while I zoom in just a little bit so we can all get a better look. In Beulah, in Oliver County here, north of center, we have a cell that's making its way through that area right now. And that cell is moving to the southeast at 16 miles per hour. So it's moving towards New Salem, Sioux. But at 16 miles per hour, I think I've seen cattle run faster than that. So that puppy's going to take a while to crawl across Oliver County right now. Yes, Center, you will have more thunderstorm activity moving into your neck of the woods. How about this heading in toward the area north of well, that's Wilton and Reagan as we take a look up there. That cell could have some hail in it. The National Weather Service says this one's moving east at 8 miles per hour. These are creepy crawlers out there across parts of central North Dakota right now in the Highway 200 corridor. Those are real slow movers, so you can expect some pretty gusty winds from a couple of those upwards of 40 miles per hour. So some of them could produce isolated areas of hail that could approach upwards of nickel size in diameter. You are not in the watch area. New warning just issued by the National Weather Service office in Aberdeen for areas east of Britain, South Dakota. Veblen, you are in the path of a hail bumper right there. Check it out. The National Weather Service says it's moving 22 miles per hour, 1-inch diameter hail threat, and gusts to 60 miles per hour. It's right on the Veblen doorstep right now, moving east-northeast at 22. Here's a timer for you to let you know when that hail core will be closer to you, moving at 22 miles per hour. It puts it in Lake City, not Lake City, Utah, but Lake City at 12:37, 12:52 for Veblen. So prepare for some hail and some gusty winds in your neck of the woods. Now, this is not in the area of the watch, but I do think from time to time we'll see these southern county storms here that are down south of the I-90 corridor, I-94 corridor rather. Those puppies will pump up and pulse up in energy from time to time. These are moving east-northeast, so Wahpeton, Breckenridge, Richland County, a chance of them moving towards your general vicinity out there as well. So that's what's going on right now. That's a quick update. We have had ridiculous wind reports across portions of South Dakota tonight. We're not far from Pierre, and off to the west, we did get some gusts upwards of 90 to 100 miles per hour that knocked down numerous power poles out there. And now we've got a hail threat into the overnight hours. So Grand Forks, the storms right now north of you. My concern is for areas right along the county border here. So I got to switch my radar back to the Mayville one so we can see these storms just a little more clearly here. So here it goes. These storms, this storm that was producing the warning for the Grand Forks area, for western parts of Marshall County, where we definitely need that rain, that storm seems to be decreasing in its intensity just a little bit here over the last couple scans. As I go in and look at what's heading into Oslo, where'd it go? It's behind my back. There it is. So there we go. This is the storm that's prompted the warning. We have a little bit of pink left in it. It's going to be some locally heavy rain with this cell as it's moving off to the east-northeast. And it is going to have the greatest chance of hail right here. Now, let me zoom up on the cloud level here just a little bit. And we'll go up in the sky. So there's the next scan up. I don't see any of those blue icons. There they go. So there is some lofted hail not far from Ardok. That does not mean hail's hitting the ground there, but way up high in the sky above Ardok, we do have some hailstones up there. So yes, in Oslo, if those stones start descending out of the cloud, we still have a pretty significant hail risk in your area. That's Alvarado, Oslo, and all areas of western parts of Marshall County, Minnesota, as well as you in the eastern reaches of Walsh County, Minnesota, particularly the southeast quadrant, south of Grafton. Grafton, you are not in this particular thunderstorm warning. We're talking ping pong ball size hail. Light rain just started east of Highway 46 of Enderland. Thank you so much, Enderland. Oh, our hearts are just with your whole community for what you've endured this year. It's been terrible. We'll get down to that area here right quick. I do want to point out, though, if you're in Adams here in the central and eastern part, not far from Lankin, I've got a sky watcher out there in the Lankin area that had some hailstones sent in pictures to me of 2.5-inch diameter hail to 3.5-inch diameter hail the other day. You can see his photo on hutchesweather.com. You can upload your photos when it's safe to do so. But right now, Adams and to the east, we have a stout thunderstorm north of Lankin. It is moving off to the east at about 30 miles per hour. And that storm is not severe at this time, but is quite strong and capable of some hail. North of Lakota, there is another little cell with some pink in the radar display here behind Hutch's old shoulder right there. So that cell working its way off to the east will stay north of Lakota, south of Brockett as it moves off to the east-northeast. So that's what's going on right now. We have strong thunderstorms off to the west, Cooperstown, Carrington, all the way out toward the Bismarck-Mandan area and points north towards Wilton, Reagan, and also down to the south here, let's go ahead and take a look at the Enderland area. We did get a report of some rain. I told you I'd look at it, and here we go. Valley City and Point South, Barnes County line with the Cass County line. Enderland, we got a stout thunder cell starting to form right here. Again, the main threat tonight is going to be hail upwards of 2 inches in diameter. We'll have that gust potential up to 70 miles per hour. Will the storm by Cooperstown make it to Mayville? That's an almost impossible question to answer, other than the fact that, well, let me finish this discussion first. I'll get to your question about Mayville. From Nome to Fingal, there is a little bit of a hail core on this cell north of the Enderland area. If I go ahead and I'm going to take you up to my other radar here, and let me go ahead and pop that on the screen. It gives us an idea, without me having to move around too much, of the direction of movement of these storms. So you can see the Enderland storm here kind of meandering its way almost due east. So it's looking like that storm should stay north of Enderland with its present movement. It is not severe at this time, but that's the movement on that particular storm. Here's a look at the motion and movement of the storm up north, the severe warning storm that's crossing the county border and the state line, I should say, as well, is pushing its way right over the Oslo area, heading all the way up towards Argyle right now, and that's going to continue to head into parts of western Marshall County, Minnesota, where the rain is badly needed. North central Marshall County, it looks like you're getting a nice little gully wash there on the Highway 59 corridor through north central Marshall County. So that's a little bit of a different look at the radar scans right now, but at least it gives us that idea of the direction of movement of these storms, generally easterly, training their way through. Now, that answers your question about the Enderland area. Nothing for Twin Valley yet. Thank you, Andrew. It does look like Twin Valley is in the quiet zone for now. As you take a look at the watch box with this particular cluster of storms, it's in yellow. The black counties that you see here, that is the air puke advisory. It's like that crappy air we've been dealing with across northern Minnesota for the last several days. The smoke will continue to be a problem on again and off again throughout our day today on Tuesday. Now, I guess I can say it's Tuesday at 12:42 your current time here as we head into the late night hours. Thanks for joining Bobby Weather. I think I know you and I miss you, brother. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you out there. Thanks so very much for watching. I hope things are going along pretty great in colorful Colorado right now. Let me see. We got a new warning, it looks like, that took place. Correction, severe thunderstorm warning. Walsh, Polk County. The correction. Well, they made a correction to something, so let me just go ahead and see what they corrected, and we'll get the right information out to you. Ping pong ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour gusts possible from the storm that's working its way into Marshall County, Minnesota from Walsh County. So I'm not sure exactly what the entirety of the correction is for the storm, but I will go ahead and read on this just a little bit and make sure that I illustrate and get to you the important information. It looks like a brand new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued here, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check this. That looks old. Let me take a look at this. I opened a file that was much older, so I'm going to go ahead and just stick with the content that I have here for you. This warning for the Walsh County line with Marshall County, Minnesota is in effect for 33 more minutes. And again, big time hail potential from the cells as they work their way through, upwards of ping pong ball size. So there could be some areas locally that get some pretty considerable damage from that. So make sure that you batten down the hatches, stay in that interior room, stay away from windows. And now back to my other radar view here as we go back down towards the I-94 corridor here south of Tower City. That cell moving in the Enderland direction. I've been keeping an eye on the rotation with the storm, so in real time I'll go ahead and do that and tell you if I have any concerns at all. And this is just to basically, as best I can, keep you up to date with what it is that we're concerned about with these systems as they work their way through. So this is a look then at what we have going on with the greens, meaning motion toward the radar in Mayville, and the reds motion away. So as we look out to the Enderland area, we see all green. And what does that mean? That means that all of the motion is toward the radar in Mayville. There's no spin, nothing like that to worry about with that particular storm. As we look at the cells that are moving over the state line right now, there's a whole mess of different colors that we're seeing here on the storm. The one that's warned for is right over Oslo right now, right here. That's the severe thunderstorm that is working its way off to the east. So that cell there, working its way off to the east at about 30 miles per hour, will be heading towards Argyle. There is some weak velocity or spin there, but it's not something I've seen a lot worse, so I'm not too concerned about it at this particular point in time. And here's your regular radar view of that, and you can see right in that same area where there was that spin or shear, we have a few blue pixels. What does that mean? That means that updraft is very strong and it's supportive of some pretty significant size hail. That's just about 4 to 5 miles northwest of Oslo there on the Red River Valley as it works its way through into southwestern parts of Marshall County, Minnesota. Look at the storms sneaking down from north. So all day these showers have been oscillating up here near the international border. Kitson County, Cavalier County, Pembina County, on out into Roseau County. They've been non-severe and it's been in the 60s all day long. Now they're sneaking down into this air with a little bit more energy there, and it's kicked them up a notch like the Kickstarter on your old motorcycle. That's what's going on there. Now look at Park River and Grafton and Lankin. This storm picking up in intensity just a little bit too. Seeing that white or blue color that you see here just south or east of the Adams area and southwest of Edinburgh. That cell could be capable of some hailstones there, just north of Lankin, along and north of the Highway 17 corridor. So that is a look at what's going on. We do have some big-time hail potential from that cell that's pushing in towards western Marshall County. Thunderstorms smattered across the region. As far as warnings go, this one looks like a pretty big one right down here, just east of Britain, South Dakota. Here we go, heading into Veblen right now. Veblen, Lake City. Make sure that you are taking your severe weather precautions. This one could be capable of some pretty sizable hail as well. Let me look at the estimates by the Doppler radar. 1.5 inch diameter hail potential from these cells as they push their way into Veblen. Tornado possible tag on this one. So let's look at the velocity. And here you got a little number 2, if you can see that on TikTok right here. That is 2-inch diameter hail estimate, and there is hail that could be very large, gusty winds, and let's go ahead and look and identify the tornado risk. So again, thanks Rick, thanks Taylor for watching. What time for Fargo? Right now, if you look downwind of Fargo here, where the storms are coming from, this one should miss us to the south. We have smattering of thunder shower activity. If it blows up, we'll let you know, but we're still looking at probably 30 miles, a little about an hour, probably closer to the 1:45 to 2 o'clock in the morning time frame before this line makes its way into Fargo. So not every town will get them. I do want to point out and look now at the spin with this storm where the National Weather Service says tornado possible. I'm switching over to the Aberdeen radar so I can get a closer view at a lower slice of the cloud. And here we go. Oh my goodness. Yeah, as you can see, there's very bright greens, kind of close to the bright reds here. Green is motion towards Aberdeen. Red is motion away. Now, there are some where we have greens and reds next to each other, but we don't have the brightest of greens next to the brightest of reds. So what we have here is a pretty broad rotating storm or supercell thunderstorm that is working its way right towards Veblen right now. So the rotating part of that thunderstorm is just north of Lake City right now, and I'll go ahead and track it for you. The National Weather Service does say that this storm is moving northeast, east-northeast at 22 to 25 miles per hour. I'm using 25. Here's the leading edge of the rotation. We'll use 25, east-northeast, boom. Here's a look at the estimated time of arrival in Veblen, 1:03, your current time, 12:48. In Clare City, 1:25. And again, that storm is dangerous, huge hail, gusty wind, and a tornado possible tag from the National Weather Service. Just tuning in, what says Holly, just tuning in, what's the projected direction for this, Hutch? Okay, so let's give you a quick little rundown on the formula for the forecast here. I have picked out a model that I think is handling this the most bestest. So here we go. Let's do this together here real quick. Thanks for your questions. And hi, everybody watching on the YouTube channel. Let's see the Argyle Dragon. Argyle, let me know what you get out there. Batten down the hatches. That storm, hope it's losing a little punch over the Oslo area. I'll keep you apprised there. 1P4G, Hutch has your forecast, t-shirts and mugs. That's what you want? Well, I'll have to work on making some t-shirts in my spare time, but this weather's been keeping me busy. Thanks a lot, though, for the wonderful idea. Matthew, thanks for joining. Wish you could hold classes on radar and reading forecasts and models. Stay tuned, my friends. Stay tuned. Justin Dunn, thanks. Good to see you. And welcome to Argyle, Fergus Falls. When is the thunder going to hit or miss us? And windy in eastern Montana, waiting for the rain, Gabriella says. let's get to this storm system that has the rotation, but we were going to talk about the forecast first. So here we go. You guys get this detailed information. Now let's go over what we got going on. I'm going to pop up a model that's been handling this storm pretty well. Not too bad. It hasn't stunk. So let's take a look at it right now. Okay, so as we've gone through the evening, this is very, very close to what we're seeing right now. A line of storms making its way through Oslo, heading into parts of Marshall County, Minnesota. This does not have much of anything going through southern parts of North Dakota at that time, but now as we advance it, there could be a couple of developed cells down to the south. That's the trend we've been seeing throughout the evening. Isolated thunderstorms in our southern valley, and this line of training thunderstorms moving into parts of northwest Minnesota as we go into the overnight hours. That's what we got going on. Now, this time, by the way, is 3 a.m. So these storms could be reaching out toward the Red Lakes area as we go toward the wee hours of the morning. And again, is there hail risk for the cell by Cooperstown? I will get to that one moment. Thank you very much for your question. Invite Cushions? Yeah, well, thank you very much. I hope I pronunciated all that right. It's getting late. My eyes are crossed. So as you can see, as we head towards daybreak, and here's 6 a.m., these storms are way up there by the international border. We're talking Ely and the North Shore with them, and a follow-up of some showers and storms here making their way into the Devil's Lake Basin. Those I do not anticipate to be severe at all because of the temperature structure we got. So that's what we have going on with that forecast. This model says not much of a chance in Lakes Country out there for Fergus Falls and Otter Tail County and Detroit Lakes, but I cannot rule out an isolated cell. You see that little pimple right there? That's Becker County and Detroit Lakes. Then that another cell forms down there, not far from Battle Lake down here in the corner, moving over Wadena County. So I cannot say, no, you ain't going to see nothing, but most of us down in the southern counties will have a better chance at missing the thunderstorm activity, as it were. Taking a deep breath, checking out the scene. And again, right now, we've got hail reports to report to you from reports in from the National Weather Service. If you have reports of hail, one thing you can do is go ahead and measure that hail with a ruler and take the widest diameter of the largest hailstones you can find and measure it, snap a picture, and send it to hutchesweather.com or report it to your local officials. These icons here are indicative of hail reports. So a local storm report here was issued in Inkster, and that hail was 1.3 inches in diameter, or 1.25 inches in diameter, and that was in town, in Inkster. That's not good. Okay, big time hail there. Hail 1 inch in diameter reported here. City Ardagh reported that hail. Public made the remark. 1 inch hailstones. That's the diameter of quarters. Other than that, I'm not getting a lot of reports, but you know what? That's not uncommon for this hour of the day. Most people try to sleep through these things. I will say, if you're on the South Dakota, North Dakota border here near Veblen right now, there is a tightly rotating storm here that has a couple of couplets on it that I would call. One area of rotation on the back, and likely some cycling going on with this storm because there's a presence here just south of Veblen of some rotation. If you're in the Veblen area and areas west of the curve in the road here on 25, I highly recommend seeking shelter in an interior room on the lowest floor possible just for precaution, because this is a rotating thunderstorm, and even the National Weather Service text says, hey, we can't rule out a tornado. It says tornado possible. The hail threat is 1.5 inches, and there could be 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this storm. Let me show you what this latest scan shows. You see this line of green here? That's motion in the general direction of the radar. Let me see. That radar is coming at us from the Aberdeen area. So that's motion towards Aberdeen along that. And then away on the other side. But what we're likely looking at here is an outflow boundary from that storm working its way through Lake City and heading in toward that Eden area. There's likely going to be a pretty good chance of some gusty winds. And in fact, that outflow boundary boom right here is pretty evident with those green colors that we see there. So that's what we got going on. Let me take a look at the hail location on this particular storm as well. I'm going to pull up a piece of dual polarization Doppler radar here, and let's go to this one. I'm looking this over on my larger monitor on the side here, so that's why my eyeballs are wandering. Based on this, I don't see, at least at that lower level of the atmosphere a huge hail core. There it is. It starts showing up now. Okay, so it's right on the bend of the road here, and this little gray color that you see right there is likely where we have a pretty significant hail core. If we go back to the regular single site velocity, that's right in the bend of the road where we have that blue stuff. So matching up very nicely. And again, what I was looking at is the scan. So what this is showing me is I have an elevated hail core right here that's heading towards Veblen. So the radar's picking this up above the ground pretty high out there, and that could be falling down on the ground right in Veblen. And we have 1.5 inch diameter hail potential or even larger possible from that particular storm. Just look at the hail core on the lowest level elevation angle scan right now. And here is a bite taken out of that storm on the south side. And that's your rotation. So when we had 2 areas of rotation, one out here south of Veblen and one over here. This bite taken out of the storm right there, that's an updraft that is huge in intensity, and it does have some spin, and that's called a hook echo. We don't like hook echoes in meteorology because those are oftentimes correlated with where we may have some spin, rotation, or even a tornado in the storm. So anything for Crookston tonight, there is a chance. I can't rule it out, but the chance is going to be better up in Marshall County. I'll get back up in that neck of the woods here, Meek. Here in just a bit. Ryder, how does the hail stay in the air while it's being made? Ryder, that's a great question, and it has to do with upward wind. We don't walk down the street and notice our skirts blowing up all the time or our hats blowing straight up in the air. But when it comes to thunderstorms, we get rising pockets of air, and those rising pockets of air can have updrafts that exceed 70, 80, or 100 miles per hour. If you have a 100-mile-per-hour wind, you can support a pretty doggone big hailstone. So that's what happens with those. And that's what we got going on. I'm going to take one more look at the velocity on this storm because it's looking very large and significant. This is shear or spin in the storm. 2 areas of spin, one here, one here. Pretty much matching up with where we see those couplets showing up on the velocity display. And here's storm relative velocity. Storm relative velocity, as we zoom in, is it close to that same area? There is some shear in this area of the storm where we had the hook echo right here on the corner of the highway. And there is some shear and spin in the storm here just south of Veblen, matching up with both of the hooks that we were seeing. Is there any storm expected in Walhalla region tonight? Nothing severe the way it looked at the last glance. Let's go back up to Valhalla. And let me show you, we got a new warning for you folks up here, not far from Walhalla. But that threat looks like it's past Walhalla to me. I've got to switch the radar over here so we can get data from the northern reaches of Walsh County, North Dakota, not far from Grafton, also into the southern reaches of you folks in and around the Pembina area. So this warning is for Walsh and Pembina counties right now. Let's get down to it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the regular radar data here so we can start from where we usually start with these storms. Now, let's go ahead. There it is. Okay, you can see this Edinburgh storm we were talking about moments ago heading towards Hoople and Crystal has some significant hail potential with it. Good to have you on board, Ryder and Meek, and thanks for your questions and comments on the video and the live thus far. Got hail in Forest River, North Dakota 10 minutes ago. Aaron, if you have a chance, let me know what the largest size hailstones you were getting with that. But new warning, let's go over the details on this. Hoople and Crystal, you are in the direct path of that hail core, and this one, 1.25 inch hail, 60 mile per hour gusts of wind possible. And this is a radar indicated hail estimate that we're getting here. No reports as of this time. Moving east, northeast at 40 miles per hour. So let me track this for you folks in the community there of Hoople and Crystal. It's moving through the Edinburgh area now, heading in towards Park River. Park River, you're in the warning. There is a hail core moving towards you, but the main hail core is this blinky white and blue thing that you see here. Moving east-northeast, let's put it at 28. We got Hoople at 110. So in about 10 minutes, it'll be in Hoople, maybe a little less. Crystal by 1:12 a.m., it'll be near you. St. Thomas by 1:32. Your wind, by the way, will come gusting at you from the west-southwest, and it will move right into Hoople from that direction. So batten down the hatches, stay away from the windows on that side of the house. And if you have time in Hoople, if you have time in Crystal, those two communities look to be straight in the track of this hail core here that could have the largest of the hailstones making their way into those communities. St. Thomas on the outside, That storm will be making its way towards you. I'll keep you posted. Our storm update here for western parts of Marshall County where rain is badly needed. Boy, we're getting some pretty good rain. We're looking at showers of rain all the way out towards Grigla, Newfold, and Sieg, showers of rain, but the severe storm right here between Stephen, Argyle, and Warren, Minnesota right now. As you take a look near Argyle is where that hail core is and remains. This one has a history of producing big time hail, folks. Latest hail report, 1-inch diameter hail was reported in RDOC by the public, and we had Inkster reporting of 1.25-inch hail right in Inkster, right in town. So a dangerous set of storms there. All right, last storm I saw, a cloud touched down on the ground shaped like a tornado. What's that? Unless you're busy. Ryder, where are you at? And what is that tonight? Or are you speaking of the last storm some other time ago? I do want to take care of what's going on out here towards Lakes Country near Upper and Lower Red Lake and in towards parts of eastern Marshall County, Minnesota. Right here on the county line, we see this little flashing area. That's an intensifying thunderstorm right there in rural portions of northwest Beltrami County off to the east of Grigla right now. That storm is non-severe right now, but I'll have to watch it. Let me look a little higher in the sky and see if we're getting a hail core up high. And no, so this is a growing thunderstorm right now in northwest Beltrami County. It will be moving east and maybe east-southeast, maybe splitting the upper and lower Red Lake area here in the upcoming hour or so. I'll keep you posted. So the strongest cells are far north now. We're talking the Walsh County area and the Grafton region. And it does include you folks in Pembina County as well, south of Cavalier. Strong cells elsewhere. We do have a tornado possible tag on this storm. A writer says in Findlay, North Dakota, 5 days ago, just curious. You're welcome, and I appreciate your curiosity. Essentially, if you see a cloud making contact with the ground, you want to look for debris and make sure that that's rotating. Sometimes we can have some low scud type clouds that get pretty close to the ground, but that's what I'd watch for, Ryder. It sounds like it may have been a funnel cloud that kind of slipped down a little bit close to your area in Findlay, North Dakota. 5 days ago, I can't remember. We've been so doggone stormy. It's just been a wild stretch of weather. All right, let's take a look at what's going on here with the Veblen storm. There were 2 areas of rotation. This cell moving right into Veblen now with that hail core we've been talking about. 1 to 2 inch diameter hail. What are you seeing, Veblen? Let me know on hutchesweather.com. You can upload your photos at hutchesweather.com. You're going to see the screen flash here while I check my photo upload page here and double check and see that I have any or not. Nothing new. But that's not too surprising at this time of the night. A lot of folks trying to get their sleep, and most of us sleeping well. But in Veblen, I think you're waking up to some terrible hail potential with this cell as it works its way over town. 2 inch diameter hail possible from that cell. And let's look at the velocity because the National Weather Service said tornado possible. I will switch this over to a radar a little bit closer to you in Veblen. That's the Aberdeen radar. So let me do that right quick. Okay, so good news on this front. We still see reds and greens next to each other right here. So this is the area of rotation near Veblen. It is elongated, number 1. Number 2, it's not as strong as it was in the last scan. Now, that doesn't mean that this storm isn't spinning. It is spinning, but that doesn't mean that, it's tornadic. Now, if you look a little higher in the sky, look at this. Very, very strong motion away next to very, very strong motion toward the radar. So this is a classic looking supercell thunderstorm with rotation making its way through. That rotation way above the ground, this is looking way up high above the cloud now, is up here just north of Veblen. But as we sneak down a little bit closer to the ground, the rotation is right here, just past the bend on Highway 25 through Veblen, heading into Clare City. So the largest hail moving into Veblen now. Appreciate all of you joining me here on my TikTok channel. If storms form in your area, check me out on my YouTube channel. You can watch me in full HD. Hi, YouTube. Linda, good to have you on board from Bemidji. Storm chances in northern portions of your county. Aaron Hittner says 1 3/4 and by 1 1/4 size hail. Thank you much. I got to scroll back through the updates here to see where that was, Aaron. Aaron says Forest River, North Dakota, 10 minutes ago. All right, TikTok, thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for your support. I am going to be putting this phone down right now and continuing on my other channels right now because my arm is losing its pulse in the fingers. Thank you so much. I will continue to keep you updated on my YouTube channel, Hutch's Weather. I'll continue to keep you uploaded live on hutchesweather.com. Join me there. You can watch my live stream on my website anytime, anywhere, no matter where you are. You can also upload your photos there. TikTok for now. If storms approach your area, I'll be here letting you know what's going on all of my channels for now. Have a good evening, TikTok, and I'll stay with you on the rest of the channels. Have a good night, TikTok. We'll see you soon. Okay, thanks for doing that, everybody, and bearing with me while I keep those folks updated too. There's different audiences on different channels, and I'm trying to have everybody in the mix here. So as we take a look, we continue with the thunderstorm warnings across the north. A strong thunderstorm statement now as Marshall County, Minnesota has been dropped from the warning. So that's good news for parts of the county. The old warning is about to expire here as the storm moves its way into the Warren and Stephen area. So at 1:15 or in 10 minutes, the warning is set to expire. It's going to be replaced by this statement from the Weather Service. Let me switch the radars here and get this back to the regular looking radar view. Okay, so we still have a pretty decent sized hail core with this system between Stephen and Warren, making its way off to the northeast. And it's moving at that clip of about 30, nope, it says 51 miles per hour now. I don't believe that. I think it's more like, let me see the average movement of the cells in this area. I think it's closer to 35 miles per hour, but let's see. It will pop up. Here we go. That one, if you see this real long white box, it says that cell is moving at 55 miles per hour. I just don't see it. I think that the average speed of these storms is moving at about 35 miles per hour. So that's what I'm going to use. Let's go ahead and analyze this storm here as we go ahead and draw a box and show you that the thunderstorm warning is expired for this in the areas that you see in blue as where the storm is moving. I'm going to move it at a pace of about 35 miles per hour, somewhere between the numbers. We've seen Strandquist 137 in about 30 minutes. It'll move towards you, Karlstad 138 there as we push its way into the Newfolden area by 141, Middle River by 158. So there's some ETAs for you for this little hail core that's right here. This warning here for the storm that's moving toward the areas north of Grafton, right along the county border with the Pembina County area. Check this puppy out right over Hoople. A huge hail core right now. If you're in Hoople, I would make sure that you're away from the windows. That storm is pretty nasty, heading right towards St. Thomas. So let me get you the latest details on that storm. National Weather Service says the warning is in effect until the 1:30 time frame. A considerable damage threat from this storm. 2-inch hail now, 2-inch hail. So right over the area right now is this 2-inch hailstorm moving towards St. Thomas. Again, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Let's time this into St. Thomas. I'm going to go with a little bit of a cheat on the leading edge of that storm. 40 miles per hour puts it right here in Grafton at 1:13. Now, Grafton, the hail core is well north of you. I drew that line to include this activity here, but you're going to get some rain in and north of Grafton. The hail core will be moving towards St. Thomas, though, by 1:17. You have 8 minutes to prepare for gusts up to around 60 miles per hour in isolated locations on this storm. And you also have that risk of some huge hail, upwards of 2 inches in diameter for you folks in St. Thomas at present time. Larimore, we got a hail cell making its way down here, just starting to form. It looks like this little guy. See it? It's got that little hook shape on it again. So this little guy's kind of wandering around the central portion of Grand Forks County, north of the Highway 2 corridor, heading towards Emerado. I am, because it has that hook shape to it there, going to look at the velocities and see what's going on with that particular storm. The number one risk tonight is not tornadoes. But in my opinion, if you're sitting at home, you want to know which storms are spinning and which ones are not. Because if it was me and my kids were in the house, if we got a spinning thunderstorm coming towards us, I'm heading to the basement or somewhere sturdy. So north of Larimore, we don't have any clear indication of real tight rotation with that particular storm. Again, between Larimore and the Emerado area, there's this little cell with a hook on it. It does show some shear there, but it doesn't look to be overly organized or strong. So let's keep that in mind as we take a look at the storms regular radar display once again. It sure has a well-defined hook shape to it here, though. And that particular cell, let's see if it shows me which way it's moving. Should be a little hail core with that. The hail probability is 100%, so it's likely that storm will produce hail, but will it be severe? No, the severe risk is only 30% chance of that storm producing severe size hail at present time. Cooperstown, I know that I had some viewers there all the way down toward Lake Ashtabula and north of Valley City. We do have some stout thunderstorms pushing in. Nighttime storms are awful. Hope people have a weather radio or are watching Hutch's weather or have information anywhere. One thing that's good about those weather radios is particularly when you're camping at a place like Lake Ashtabula, if you have bad cell coverage, it can be a lifesaver. The coverage by these NOAA weather radios is not bad at all. Some areas have, struggle getting the signal, but it's a great way to get those warnings right from the National Weather Service with a NOAA weather radio. All right, as we take a look, 1-inch hail marker on this cell that's moving into the Lake Ashtabula area, just north of Valley City as we speak. So between Daisy, Rogers, and Valley City, we have this cell that's moving off to the east, capable of some hail, likely nickel in size, but it could be growing and intensifying just a little bit as well. We got very heavy rain, but not significant hail cores showing up in any of these cells right here. And by the way, I have 1 3/4 inch hail reported here. I got to pass that along to the Weather Service office, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do that. Aaron, thank you for your report. And again, that was in Forest River. Was that right in town, or was that like north or south of town? I hate to ask you so many questions there, Aaron. Thank you very much for efforting to get me the information. The more precise I can be, then we can match it up with some radar data here, or the Weather Service can. So I'll take a look here. I'm just looking for your all right. Bear with me because I'm going to get this information. Okay, so we continue to see strong thunderstorms as far west as Washburn and points south, north of Bismarck. Carrington, you got another storm moving through your area. We now have a warning that has been appended for the central and northern parts of Marshall County. That storm capable of large hail still with that storm. So a new warning until 1:45 for 1 1/4 inch diameter hail on there as well. NOAA radios give you alerts anywhere between 30 seconds and 2 minutes faster than general broadcasting. You're right, because it's coming straight from the NOAA source. It comes right from them. And the channels for EAS systems go through many different channels before they get to you, which delays it by a few seconds anyways. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So the warned storm here does include you folks in the Newfolden area, Carlstead, and areas north of Newfolden towards Strandquist. For this hail producing cell here, 1 1/4 inch diameter hail possible from that cell as it works its way through. All right, so new warning. That's in effect for Strandquist. I'll time that out for you. The latest estimated movement on this storm, 40 miles per hour. I agree with that. Now, if we take a look here, let's go ahead and animate this for you for the hail core. Boom. All right, so Carlstead 127 and Strandquist, as we get into the time frame of 128, the storm will be near you. 132 for Newfolden and Middle River, 144. Now I'll keep you posted on the details with that. Now I do need to take just a second to update my friends at the National Weather Service office with the report here. Let me see. My apologies. 1 mile east of Forest River, Aaron Hiltner, thank you. 1 mile east of Forest River, 1 3/4 inch diameter hail from on the widest measurement. So let me pass that along. And you said it hailed for 10 minutes ago. Aaron, thank you very much again. If you have a timing on that hail so I can punch it in, that'll be good. Other than that, I appreciate your report very, very much. Thank you. And that's how it works. So in time, that data gets passed on to not only the National Weather Service, but the Storm Prediction Center, and they keep a record of all these hail that the storms produce. And it's important, right? If it damages your home or property, having a record of it, where it was and where it was moving, all important. And it does help us forecast ahead what these storms might produce. This Hoople storm, pretty doggone stout here as it's working its way in towards St. Thomas right now, still has a warning on it until 1:30 for the next 15 minutes. 2-inch diameter hail possible from that puppy as it works its way through. Scattered heavy rain and lightning just started southeast of Findlay water break. Okay. All right, so this cell moving east at 40 miles per hour is on the Highway 81 corridor right now, and moving right on that along the Highway 66 corridor right towards Drayton, as it were. The general movement is northeast, and it's moving again at about that 40 mile per hour clip. So I will go ahead and give you the latest estimate. Uh-oh, what did I do here? All right, there we go. Might be the fastest I can make it go. St. Thomas, 120. So it's moving in on you in the next 4 to 5 minutes. Drayton, take a little bit longer to get to you, about 1:35. It'll be in your area. Now, I have an update from the National Weather Service to pass along on the storm that's way down south. Here you go. New warning, and this does include you folks out there in the Traverse County area. I know I had someone asking about that earlier in the night. Lots of thunder and lightning approaching Grafton. Thank you very much, Jackie Thompson. I sure appreciate your feedback on that. And again, the Hankinson area, question from Jordan, and in town I didn't see any. Okay, that's amazing. Ryan saying that in town he didn't see any hail, and just outside of town it hailed 1 3/4 inch, and that's how small the areas of the largest hailstones can be. Let's get down on this storm down to the south near the border, right on the North Dakota South Dakota border. That puppy is pretty stout, and it's moving in areas north of Sisseton right now towards New Effington. It's staying south of Hankinson right now, but if you see this, it's kind of been drifting due east as it's worked its way across. So Ross Holt, New Effington, you are in the track or path of this particular storm. It's over Clare City right now. Now, as this one was moving over the Veblen curve in the road here on Highway 25, it was showing some pretty tight rotation as well. The latest warning from the National Weather Service says this storm is in effect, the warning is, until 2 a.m., moving at 45 miles per hour. Tornado remains possible, 1.25-inch hail, and 60 mile per hour gusts. So moving east, 40 miles per hour, tornado possible. We'll analyze the tornado risk here in just a second, or where the spin is. We'll go ahead and time this out. New Effington, that storm will be near you by 1:20, 1:33 for Ross Holt and Wheaton by 1:48. On towards Dumont and Tinta by the time we get to around 1:50 to 2 a.m. I'll keep you posted if it continues on its trek to the east of these locations. But this is a dangerous storm, and it has been showing some pretty tight rotation. Here's a look at where that is. We're looking from the air radar up in Mayville right now, and we're seeing greens and reds next to each other. So it's picking up New Effington shear, a little bit of shear on the other side of the storm as well, north of Veblen. But that's where the strongest shear is right here. We've got very strong wind away from the radar and very strong wind toward the radar, and it's right in this area, right on Highway 106 towards New Effington at this particular time. Now, as we take a look at a closer radar site, I like to call this dual Doppler, just to kind of confirm what is it seeing, and is that rotation in the same area or not? You betcha, there it is. Motion toward the Aberdeen radar, motion away. There is your couplet. That's the rotating part of the storm. It is pretty tight. We have bright greens next to bright reds, and it's making its way right into New Effington. What does that mean? It does not mean a tornado's on the ground. But what it does mean is this storm is rotating pretty tightly in a pretty tight area, and it's right on the highway moving towards you. If you're in New Effington or rural places just west of town between you and Clare City, I would seek shelter in the lowest floor possible, get to a basement, get out of things like mobile homes and manufactured homes. The 60 mile per hour gusts can cause significant enough damage to cause you issues there for sure. Now, as we take a look at what's going on with this particular storm, I'm going to look at a couple of things here. So bear with me while I look at some other properties here. This is called a correlation coefficient, and if there was debris in the air, it would show a signal in the same area as the rotation. Remember, the rotation's right here. I'd be looking for a blue signal like this in that area. That's where the blue signal is. Is there anything there on that part of the storm? Now let's look at one more factor in the same area where the rotation's showing up, and we do have some pretty stout red here. But that's a little bit south of where we were seeing the rotation as well. So everything doesn't line up in the same spot, which makes it a little tough to believe that we have anything picking up debris, as it were. These would be more of a signature of debris being kicked up by the storm. And again, one more look at that storm relative velocity. Do we have anything? Whoop, that is a cloud top shot. How high are these cloud tops? Well, let's see. By accident, I clicked on it, and it's 56,000 feet. That is a high thunderstorm cloud top this time of the night in this part of the country. So we have some very stout and strong updrafts with these storms that are persistent down here in the south. And if you remember Hutch saying earlier, there are these isolated storms down on the southern side of this watch. The watch box is not inclusive of that one thunderstorm down there because it just doesn't have a watch down in that area. But if I turn on the watch box, you could see that extends all the way out along the I-94 corridor, the Highway 10 corridor, through Park Rapids and on into the Brainerd Lakes area and points north towards Walker, Bemidji, the Red Lakes area, and International Falls. That watch is in effect until 6 a.m. Pouring in Badette, says Linda. Linda, the storms in the Badette area, the good news is they have not been severe this evening in or around Badette, so that's the good news. But pouring rain, oh boy. Here we go. And you've had quite a bit of wet weather there, if I remember. Lake of the Woods County through you folks in Koochiching County also seeing some very, very wet weather as we go through. Busy Cat, thank you for your suggestion to like and subscribe. And if you've not done so on my YouTube channel, you can watch me on your big screen TV in 1080i. And if you are watching that way now, let me know on the YouTube channel. Let me know if the signal looks pretty good. And let me know if the quality looks okay. Let's go ahead and check in on these storms up north. But again, if you're in Veblen, my concern is there that this rotating couplet, if you're in Clare City to Rossholt, this rotating couplet remains an issue. This storm is rotating pretty tightly, heading right into the New Effington area. Tornado possible tag from the National Weather Service on that particular storm. It also is showing a symptom here, a signal here of a gust front that's blowing out of it in the green. Now, it's really difficult to see this because the radar beam is pointing along the same path as the gust front would be blowing. So that means if it's going diagonally like that, or perpendicular to the beam like that, the wind will not be measured quite in its full capacity. So with that said, it still has that shape of a backwards C outflow type, inflow type situation. There's your rotating couplet there. Remember, north of Effington, there was something? By golly, we got a pretty strong outflow, inflow signal right here too. North of New Effington, there's one. South of New Effington, we've got one as well. So though there's a couple couplets in that particular storm, one right on the state line here as we're making our way across the border. That's the I-29 corridor. Let's go ahead and take a look at what this puppy looks like, shall we? Let's get a front row seat thanks to my friends at the Department of Transportation in South Dakota. So off we go to look at a nighttime vision out there. Let's see, is this South Dakota? Oh, here she comes. Hi, South Dakota, how you doing? I'm waking up the South Dakota DOT cams here right now, and let's go right into this area storm that's heading into the Rossholt area. The closest look we might have between this area is right here. And this is camera looking south. This is from the Victor camera there along the border. Let's see if we can turn around and look. Wow, that's a great shot there. Now, what are you looking at? Okay, that is the Dakota Magic Casino there at the border. And you can kind of definitely see that. And that's north. So that's looking north. The storm is basically off to the west of that. It looks like we're getting some streaks across the Victor camera, so that's some rain showers coming down there. Storm has not made it to Victor yet, and that might be the closest camera I see. Although, wait. How about Lake City? That's a little ways away, but let's take a look and see if we can see off in the distance. In the distance. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm going to look and see if I find something that looks... Nope, I can't see anything on these dark nighttime shots here that we're getting. If we look north on Interstate 29, we might be able to see a little something. And even that's going to, yeah, it's just, again, these DOT cameras are wonderful. And in the daytime, sometimes we can get a glimpse of what's going on out there. And I understand at night you want to know what's going on with these storms. But the best I can tell you with the radar is we have a rotating thunderstorm moving over New Effington now with some rotation just south of New Effington and another couplet that looks to be on the north side that is kind of losing its organization a little bit. So the main rotation right over I-29 right now near New Effington, heading in the general direction of Rossholt. So that's what's going on there. Okay. Regular radar view. Look at that hail core too. From Lidgerwood to Hankinston, the heaviest hail is well south of you and looks to stay south at this particular time. It's moving off to the east. Huge thunderstorm here. This is a real big size thunderstorm. And we got this hail core here, strong updraft. There's a hook here. That is, that's an inflow area of the storm too. And that could be supporting some of this hail. Then you got an outflow boundary here moving towards Sisseton. But a big hail core moving into New Effington here in moments. So seek shelter from this storm. Stay away from the windows. And there are some areas south of Hankinson and Lidgerwood on the North Dakota side of this that have very large hail potential from this storm, upwards of 1 inch to 2 inches in diameter. Keep that in mind. Will Fargo get it? Here we go. Look at this starting to light up as we go from, say, Cooperstown south through the Lake Ashtabula area and on into western Cass County right now. Now, we're not seeing a huge individual thunderstorm cell, but this cell next to the Enderland and Kindred area, that one is making its way over Leonard right now with some hail on the Alice side of the storm. Tower City, possibly some there. Matt Wahlberg, sorry, it's a video of the lightning. I sent you a message. Oh, okay. So you're noticing the lightning. Thank you for your note. I'll go ahead and clear that on the website here. If I didn't hear the little dingle bell on my side, but I could have my mic turned down just a little bit. So if you're sending anything to Hutch, please upload it on my website, hutchesweather.com. So please go to hutchesweather.com to upload any of your content. If you go to my page right up here at the top, there's my viewer picks section there. You can also get to it by scrolling down the page just a little bit farther, and you'll see the video section and photo section right here. You can either view and peruse the photos or upload them. I cannot show them on this channel, and I won't show them unless you're the photo taker and you upload and give me permission to do that. Leave your name, any details that's helpful. So Matt, thank you for efforting the time to send the messages or whatever. It's real helpful if all of the content goes to one site. Concerning Bemidji, Minnesota, huge storm here 3 weeks ago. Alana, indeed, that windstorm was something else. And I know that there were reports surveys done by the Weather Service saying all straight line winds. But you know what? 120 mile per hour straight line winds just wrecked things out there. And it was unbelievable. The photos, I hope that you're getting cleaned up and things are okay. Right now in Bemidji, the stout and most strong storms are in northern Beltrami County. We don't wish it upon anybody, but that's where they are. Here's Bemidji. These are drifting here, but they are kind of moving southward. This whole line has been moving south out of Roseau County. 12:24 was the time it started. Thank you, Aaron. That's outstanding. 12:24. I'll pass that along to the Weather Service. All right. All right, there we go. We got it. That's been passed on to the National Weather Service forecast office there, and who knows, you may even see that report if you go to the Storm Prediction Center and look at the, oh my goodness, look at the lightning all of a sudden, just really intensifying with this storm over southern Richland County. It's like all of a sudden it unleashed lightning from the stars. Look at this, a ton of strikes is in this one area of the county, all right here in Hankinson. So you've got this updraft part of the storm here. When we see a huge increase in lightning, that can sometimes indicate a very intense intensification of the storm as well. Here's a look at these flashes 4 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, 6 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. They're all very closely timed. So this thing just started laying down buckets of lightning in the last 3 to 6 minutes, all in that one spot right there. So that storm is intensifying as it works its way through. As we take a look at this, it's looking like a bigger blob of a storm, right? And let's measure the diameter of this puppy. This is a big one. Average thunderstorm is 10 miles across. This is 30. So this one's either doing one of two things. It's either several thunderstorms now that are becoming a complex of thunderstorms called a mesoscale convective complex, or an MCC in meteorological jargon, but really it's a cluster of thunderstorms that starts to organize. If this gets organized, and if it has that south inflow we were talking about earlier tonight, this puppy could last for hours. And the other thing is that it could organize and create its own rotation too. So we'll be watching this one very closely as we go into the evening. That is a very large complex of thunderstorms there that's working its way through. The hail core and the hail intensity here, if I go ahead and take a look at one more product, I'll be able to pinpoint the exact location of it as opposed to the estimated guess that you get with other types of software. Let's go ahead and take a look at this right here. Target differences, target similarities, target differences. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, I'm seeing that the differences in the targets are highly different in these areas here in the middle of the storm. Hailstones, this might indicate that these hailstones are jagged and oblong and different shaped, okay? Because if they're round, a lot of hailstones end up being nice and pretty symmetrically round. And if they're round, we end up with a real gray signal in here. And I'm seeing red, and that red might indicate that we got some jagged hail in those thunderstorms right now. And as I take a look at this, I am seeing that we do have a lot of target similarities here. So high similarity of the targets means many of the targets are likely the same type as we go through here, and then they're different in here. So maybe another indication that we could be having some pretty ugly looking, jagged, weird looking hailstones out there in the yard by the time this is all said and done. Here's a look at your regular radar data, and in the same area we're seeing all of that jaggedness is this. Watching from Morehead, Shirley, thank you for watching. Elana, thank you for your concern, and thanks for the feedback on the YouTube channel. That does help me out a great deal. Let's go up north now. We do have some activity continuing there. A new warning has been issued. Well, actually, it's the same warning, but let's go ahead and cover that Newfoundland storm here. It's the only warning up north right now, and then we'll cover when these things may hit Fargo Morehead. That's coming up next here on Hutch's Weather. Look at the expanse of the activity going on here in northern Minnesota. Some of these cells were up here in Roseau County, and they're moving down this way, okay? So they're kind of sagging southward a little bit more in time with these, moving out of the way of places like Badette, where you're getting heavy rain right now in International Falls. It's been cloudy and sprinkly and rainy all day up north here, and not severe. You had temperatures in the cool 60s all day, while down south, 90s. And here, now this activity is sagging southward. So that's something to keep in mind. And as I thought, the Red Lakes area now is seeing these storms kind of split in between the upper and lower Red Lake right now. Let me put my crayon away here. Give me a second. And we'll analyze this storm here. So the warned storm, pardon me, has moved over the Strandquist area. Make sure I'm using the right radar here. It is Mayville. Okay. So as we take a look at this, the Strandquist area, the hail core is moving over you, 1-inch diameter hail and gusts less than 50 miles per hour possible from this cell, the way it looks right now. Newfoundland, we have a little hail core making its way towards you, but how about that? How about that? Most of the county is going to be getting some heavy-duty beneficial rain. Hopefully, we're not getting widespread 60-mile-per-hour gusts and big-time hail anymore. It looks like that hail potential might be sneaking down a little bit. I am going to go ahead and do slices through increasing levels of this cloud as we go up. I do see that up above the ground a little bit, we've got an elevated hail core here that's still falling down out of the cloud or rising up into it, depending on whether it's developing or decaying. And then as we get higher than that, I don't see any hail cores over your area. Thief River, I'm seeing some elevated hail potential over your area, but it's smaller hail. So there is a chance between Thief River and St. Hilaire at seeing some hail in your area all the way out towards Goodridge and Grigla. Just some much needed rainfall for Marshall County, Minnesota. Severe thunderstorm warning for Newfoundland and Carlstad does remain in effect, though, for the next 11 minutes. But it does look like, knock on wood, the intensity of that storm has waned a little bit. We're seeing Walsh County, Minnesota, North Dakota, seeing from Grafton through Park River and on towards Adams and north of Lankin, all the way out to the Lawton and Brockett area. Just a smattering of thunder shower activity kind of training its way right through the county. Some lofty rain and isolated, you can see these one little blue pixels here and there, isolated hail up to maybe nickel in diameter. As we go out to the west of the FM area, here's what we're seeing. Okay, yep, here's what we're seeing in the FM area. Let me make sure. I must have turned off. Oh, yeah, I turned off the. Okay, so we got the Mayville radar going here. Look at this. The trend for these cells in Griggs, Steele, Barnes, and Cass County is down over the last couple of minutes. Ashley says heavy rain, lightning in Thief River Falls. All right, thank you for your report, Ashley. The storms in your area are non-severe, but they are pretty stout. They are pretty strong. The hail potential isn't quite as big as that storm down to the south, and we see a little bit of the blue popping up on the east side of the county out there. Probably, well, let's see, that's Goodrich area? Yeah, out in the Goodrich area. So, Ponema, Red Lake, the lower Red Lake seeing showers and storms right over the lake now, and the upper Red Lake has the main core of this hailstorm. That storm's pretty strong up there and working its way through. And by the way, if you are off into the Koochiching County area here, we are seeing south of Big Falls and some storms out there. Long ways from the radar out there, but they're pretty stout thunderstorms as well. So that's what's going on. The main show in town right now is this puppy moving off. The warning does kick out into Traverse County. If you're in the Wheaton area, excuse me, about north of Browns Valley, we do have the thunderstorm warning kind of sneaking into your area as well. This is a strong, huge cluster of thunderstorms. That is one big storm out there. It was last measured by myself at about 20 plus miles in width in this heavy core area here. So that is one mean storm. If that were to collapse, by the way, and kind of diminish and all the hail and rain started falling out of it, we would get some terrible wind gusts with that storm as well. So heed the warning for that storm and seek shelter in that interior room. That storm has had a history of rotation with it as it's made its way off to the east. And here we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at that from the Aberdeen radar, please. And here we go. All right, so we still have some kind of less organized spin and shear with this storm, but it is showing up. We do have motion toward the radar near New Effington and away here, toward here, away. You can kind of actually depict where there are some of the individual thunderstorm cells with this in this mess of red and green here. It's not a Christmas tree, folks. Those are just the wind speeds either towards the radar in green or away from the radar in red. And it helps us to try to pinpoint areas where we might have some tight spin or shear in the storm. Some of it's moving near the Rosshold area, but it's not strong. There is stronger spin or shear right here over the I-29 corridor now, motion towards next to motion away here. That's the area that I think has got the most spin in it at this particular time. Nonetheless, a dangerous storm heading in towards Rossholt right now. Big time hail potential with this cell as well. It's been guesstimated or estimated by Doppler radar of upwards of 2 inches in diameter right over New Effington, and some of that hail potential sneaking up to areas just south of Hankinson. So from Lidgerwood here on that Lidgerwood Highway 11 corridor and points south, that's where the best chance of some hail is right there. Tyler says, what are the wind gusts looking like for the Red Lake County area? Let's go ahead and take a look. I don't have a lot of instruments over there, but I'll take a look at a couple of things offline here. Let me take and pull them up right now, please. So bear with me while I try to answer your question. Go here and go here, and then I'll go here. All right. So let me get up here and see if I know Washkish has a nice little site there for me. So Washkish has gusts of only 5 miles per hour, but it's on the wrong side of the lake, right? So I'd be looking for some more instruments on the other side of the lake there. This is the one I do have access to. Now let me look at one more observation location here, and that'd be the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. Even though that is in Minnesota, they do have some instruments out there. Let me see if what we've got going on there now. And that does not have anything at all out in Beltrami County that's helping me. But look at that. We do have some gusts. These most recent gusts reported at only 23 mile per hour in that Mayville area as well. I think we got a new warning coming out here because I just got a notification on my cellular device. So let me catch up on data, make sure we keep you caught up with what's going on tonight. Event canceled, thunderstorm watch. Okay, so we're lopping off counties as the watch is, and the storms are moving off to the east. So let me see what counties. Okay, so let me see if this spells it out. Stutzman and Foster County have been dropped from the thunderstorm watch. So that's out in western parts of North Dakota. So an update to what your thunderstorm watch looks like at this hour of the night, morning, 1:40 a.m. The watch is in effect until 6 a.m. We've seen Stutzman County and Foster County dropped from the warning, from the thunderstorm watch for now. So right now, as we speak, we have one active severe thunderstorm warning in place, and that is this cell here near the Hankinson area. Let's go take you out and see if we can see this now in and around North Dakota's camera down there near Hankinson. So I'm going to go to the North Dakota Road DOT site. We're going to pull up this camera right down here at the border and take a look at what's going on, and we'll take a look at our different vantage points here. That does not look like we're seeing much of anything on that particular camera. I'm going to go a sneak or a skosh to the north on that. Wow. I don't know if that's a lightning strike that lit that whole thing up. It must have been, huh? Look at that. That's amazing. You can see a gopher out there in the field. That's amazing. So all that lightning that was going on there in the Hankinson area helped illuminate some of the skyline there. I am going to go ahead and continue with the North Dakota DOT cam network here and look off to the north just a little bit towards Morton and see what we're seeing as we look down to the south. I'm not seeing anything there that's useful. Now let's go back over here towards, we've got the storms that have left Foreman. So now we'll ditch that and we'll head on over to South Dakota one more time and go right along the border and take a quick peek and see, because right over the border crossing there is where we have the greatest thunderstorm activity and intensity right now, and it's actually fairly significant. Let's look from Sisseton and look north and see if we can see real quickly on the mini-sized view. Now let's go right at the border here. Oh yeah, we got some heavy rain taking place right now at Victor, and sideways rain showing up there. Maybe hail as well. Hard to tell at night and in the dark, but the Victor area now starting to see the thunderstorm activity pushing through robustly at the very least. So now we can take a look on the Minnesota side of the river and see if I have any DOT cams at all in that area of Traverse County and see. Let's look from this one down to the south. So this is Tenney. See if it has a sky view. There is a look at the lightning again, lighting up the nighttime sky for us brilliantly, I might add, so that we can witness that. Okay, so here's what we have going on as we go ahead and continue with the coverage here on Hutch's weather. Number one, let's get you to the radar. Here's the strongest cell. It's Hankinson and points south, but the warning's only in South Dakota. It does sneak over into parts of Traverse County and Wilkin County, Traverse County here on the Wheaton area. So that is the warning for that. Tornado possible tag still has been issued for that, but Traverse and Roberts County are in the thunderstorm warning. That's until 2 a.m. here, so for the next 17 minutes or so. So that's that. Now as we take a look up north again at these storms that are drifting out towards Grand Forks and Fargo, I mentioned that we were going to talk about Mayville and Fargo and see what these are doing. I'm going to turn on the individual cell tracks here in the hail cores and see what the average speed of these is as we do a little analysis on the latest storm cells here. Let me get the Mayville radar loaded up. And as this data is loading up, we've got this huge statement for everywhere from the Thief River area and St. Hilaire all the way out toward the Red Lakes area for that cluster of thunderstorms that's drifting. This is all drifting to the east-southeast here. So northern Clearwater County all the way out into the eastern reaches of Polk County, Red Lake County out there towards Oakley, all in that discussion. Wow, you're back. I am back. I have me some pizza, and I'm all good to go for a little bit here, and I got my water just in case. The talking this long can really wear you out. back because we had some huge hail in northern Grand Forks County, potential for some 2+ inch diameter hail. We also have a tornado possible tag on this storm in the northern reaches of northeast South Dakota, north of Sisseton there. And that Roberts County storm is working its way off to the east at about 40 miles per hour, pushing toward Wheaton at this time. Huge hail, still some unorganized rotation showing up in those cells as well. All right, so these cells that I'm trying to analyze here in and around the Fargo area, there we go. Okay, now we can kind of see that these cells all have a northeasterly movement. So the ones that have the best chance at making their way close to Fargo, these guys down here in the Kindred and Leonard area, these guys up here in the Hope and Page area and northeastern parts of Barnes County will be impacting areas of northern Cass County as we go through. Now, if we look at the average speed of these cells, this guy's moving at 24. This guy's moving off to the east at 37. This one's moving 23. They're all over the place. I think the average here is 30 to 32 miles per hour. So we're going to use 32. I like 32. All right, let's go with 32. Notice this. These storms in Cass County are very isolated in nature. There's just a little dot here, a little dot there. This is the most organized cell, and it's moving in the general direction of the FM area. So as we take a look at this cluster of cells down here near Kindred, moving towards Fargo at a pace of about that 32, 33 mile per hour means Kindred 155, it'll be near you, Mapleton 203. On towards Frontier and the southern reaches of the metro here, 214, and West Fargo at 214. Fargo and Morehead by around 222 and a half. We'll split the difference. All right, so we'll keep our eyes on that. There is no warning for that cell. That's just when we'll have a chance for some lightning. We see that we have a lightning strike here south of Castleton. Happened about 4 minutes ago. And as we take a look at this northern Cass County cluster of storms here, let's go ahead and time those out at a clip of about 32 miles per hour movement to the east. So here we go, taking a broad brush stroke. This is going to be an estimate of when some of this thunderstorm activity will be moving in your general direction, moving northeast, actually east-northeast at about 32 to 35 miles per hour. It's 146. By 154 Northwood, another round for you after one round had moved through your area earlier. Hatton on towards 2 a.m. Arthur by 2:03, and Portland about the same. Mayville 209 for you. Mayville looks like those storms could head out of your area and towards Buxton, but it'll be a little while before it gets there. 227. Hillsboro 230. So it'll take a while to get to the northern I-29 corridor north of the FM area. So that's a look. So Mayville, yes, you have a chance at some heavy rain shower activity working its way through. Now let's get to what's going on with this cluster of cells just off to the east of Thief River, moving off to the east-southeast. These storms have a speed of movement of ridiculousness according to the Doppler radar right now. So these individual cells, this says it's moving at 52 miles per hour to the east, and this cell moving at 33 miles per hour. This cell moving at 51, this one moving at 38. We're all over the board here. So what we're going to do is take an average of about 45 miles per hour. Now, the other thing is that the individual cells, like this cell right here is moving east. This cell right here is moving east. But this whole line is kind of moving in the general direction of Red Lakes again. So if you're in the northern reaches of Beltrami County, this line of thunderstorms is making its way towards you. There could be some localized gusts within this cluster, would be Hutch's estimation, based on two things. This whole cluster of storms has a little bit of a backward C shape to it, and they start accelerating in the direction of the gusty winds, and it's heading in that general direction of the Red Lakes area, and we're going to put it at that average of about 44 miles per hour. And let's take a look. So the Ponema area about 233, Red Lake area by about 236, and that's Red Lake Community, and the Red B area by about 243. So Washkish, you're not on the list here, but you'd be on the outside of the hour time frame of about 245, the way it looks to Hutch here. So that's what we have going on right now. And in and around Thief River, we do have some good rich hail potential there. This again, moving right along the Highway 1 corridor there out of the Pennington County area. So more showers and thunderstorms to the west of Pennington County. Let's take a look at some of our rainfall totals. Here's a smattering of hail reports out there. And as we take a look at what made its way through Walsh County and Grand Forks County, here is a report of 1 1/4 inch hail in and around Hoople. We had the Park River hail here of a 3/4 of an inch in diameter reported at 12:51. We had some hail here in Inkster reported to be 2 inches in diameter. You see that right there? That's some big time hail. And then as we looked over to the east just a little bit here, we have the 1.8 inch diameter hail, or 1 3/4 inch diameter hail, 1 mile east of Forest River. Thank you for your report. And then as we look in the Ardoch area, Ardoch in town reported 1 inch from the public there. We have more hail potential from this cell moving into the Minto area. So Forest River, you may be getting another round of some hail in and around your neck of the woods right now. But we don't see a lot of the high reflectivities here in the pinks or blues like we do moving into the Mayville area right now. No warnings on these storms. They're kind of flirting with severe criteria, nickel-sized hail, and then coming down and coming back up. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw some 1-inch hail in very isolated places, but that's what Hutch is seeing right now. Bemidji, for now. If we looked at our model earlier together, most of this stuff moved into and through your area between now and 3 a.m. And if I look at this, there is a little southerly tilt to it, but it looks to maybe stay north of you. 10 strike maybe. Let's see if that's in the area. Also black duck, I think you guys might have a better chance at seeing some of this thunder shower activity make its way through your area, but it'll be just a little while. Kelleher there, that chance of the storms making their way through, and Big Falls. Now if I switch over to the Duluth radar right quick, we might have a better view of some of these cells here. You can see that line extends all the way from North Dakota across northern Minnesota tonight. And then there's the big heater with the tornado possible tag down here to the south. And this storm is now diving south. I think I could call this a right mover. It has moved east, straight along the state line here all night. And now the strongest part of the storm is diving into the feeding south winds that are fueling this storm with the energy that it needs. So that's something we see sometimes. We start looking at that east movement. It's been moving east all night, and then, I think I'm going to go this way. This thunderstorm has changed its mind, ladies and gentlemen. It's moving southeast at about 25 miles per hour. That means Wheaton, you may not see the brunt of this storm, although you will see storm activity in and around your area. I'm going to go just with this hail core right now that looks like it's moving east-southeast. Here's where it's heading. It'll be close to Wheaton by 2:06. This hail core here, if this is it, it may miss you to the south. Dumont, 2:15. Johnson, no relation. 2, 3, 4. That's the time, or the ETA for you. Chocayo, how about 2:42 for you? And Alberta, not to be confused with our Calgary neighbors, 2:50. Is the ETA for that. So that cell there making its way off to the east. Let me get a little closer to a radar here in Aberdeen here for that storm. So I take that back. At this late hour, I had the Duluth radar on, so that was a bad estimate of the storm. It might be tilting that way, but it's not moving that way. Wheaton, this storm is moving towards you, and it still has a significant hail threat here as it's working off to the east at about that 40 mile per hour clip here. At about 2:12, it'll be making its way towards you, and it is moving right towards you. New Effington, Ross Holt, those storms are moving towards you. Let me take one more look now at that camera that we have in and around the area to see if we see hailstones on that. So here we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hailstone potential by looking at the DOT cameras right there in South Dakota. Here we go to that right now. All right, so we're going to get right up here in the corner, and we're going to go see if we, okay, so now you can see some pretty big rain streaks there. Hard to tell if those are hailstones. Hard to see the road surface. You can see the Dakota Magic Casino off there in the background, and we definitely do have some very heavy precipitation working its way through. There is a view in and around the storm, and again, some sideways rain and or mixed in hail with that particular cell. Sisseton, most of this activity is staying to your north. Here is a view of that cloud, and you got these low clouds hanging up and down in the sky there. Pretty interesting view from that particular perspective. And then there is a road shot there. So that's what we're seeing from the South Dakota cameras. Now I'm going to sneak up into North Dakota, and we're going to take a peek at that one that's right on the border down there at that Hankinson area. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we're seeing, because straight down buckets of rain. Now that's a gully washer right there. So definitely a very heavy deluge of rain filling the gutters there. I do believe we had some sort of a lightning strike there that may have caused some problems. And we could just see, I'm trying to look on these road ones and see if we've got hailstones sitting in the side. I'm not seeing that right now. That's good news. A little north of that location, this is the Lake Agassiz site. And there it looks like we have some blurry hailstones hanging around. So there is some hail that made its way onto the North Dakota side of the river. There, at least that's my guess as to what it was I was looking there, and it's just an educated guess at best at this hour of the night with dark cameras. Minnesota, let's take a look here real quick. Okay, so it does look like the closest. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. See if we can see the distance shot here. Little bit in the trees, but not much there. The roads look like they're getting wet there, and that's about it that camera can show me. If I can look south from this one out from Tenney, not sure if I was able to see much from this location before. It's just dark, so we can confirm that it's dark out there, ladies and gentlemen. There is a big-time hail core making its way through Rossholt on towards the Wheaton area right now. If you're in these communities, please seek shelter in that interior room. Stay away from windows, and it might not be a very bad idea at all to get to the basement if you have one available. If you're in a mobile or manufactured home, it might not be a bad idea, and particularly if you're at the campground out here, to get out of things like campers and tents. We do have this backward C-shape, not only to the hail core here, but to the edge of the radar data, meaning we could have some pretty stout wind gusts with this storm. Now I'm looking at radar data straight out of Aberdeen, which will give me a very good estimate of wind speeds that this is measuring above the ground. This doesn't mean that these will be the wind speeds that are happening at the ground, but check this out. These are 50 and 60 mile per hour winds moving away or outgoing from the radar site in Aberdeen. So a pretty good guesstimate. If the wind is moving at an angle across this beam, which it likely is, then it's even more than that. So here is your core of rapidly moving winds that are taking place right now out of this thunderstorm, moving out of Rossholt, and they're going to be blowing in this general direction right towards Wheaton. So that's a pretty good bet that aloft we're measuring winds of 60 miles per hour, and then we could be getting even stronger winds on the other side of that. Just light rain in Crookston. Thank you, Chris, for that. Ryder says the whole inside of the house just lit up, followed by the loudest lightning I've heard tonight. Ryder, drop me your location once again. I do appreciate it. Mike the Hutchster, he says, rock on. There we go. We're getting her done. We're talking weather. New warning for you guys in Demont and Tinta and Norcross for the storm that's rotating here and working its way towards Wheaton. This does include you and Wheaton. I got to put my Crayola away here and read the latest on this warning. This is for hail and 1 inch in diameter. We just talked about the wind gust potential being around 60 miles per hour, didn't we? National Weather Service says 60 mile per hour gusts. It's moving east at 25. We went from 40 to 25 miles per hour. It's a beast. This storm is huge in aerial coverage. Average diameter of a storm is 10 miles. This one I measured at closer to 30. Fergus Falls going to see some storms? Question mark, says Andrew. Thank you, Andrew, for your question. This storm looks to move south of you. This is the only game in town that's significant right now. There are storms that are kind of smattered along this boundary up here, and they could indeed affect the Fergus Falls area. Wahpeton, Breckenridge, we have some non-severe thunder shower activity going on in your neck of the woods. Maybe some small soft hail, likely even smaller than pennies from that particular cell, the way things are looking. A lot of lightning crossing the border right now. So yes, a fair chance from Fergus Falls all the way up towards Pelican Rapids and maybe even out towards Maple Lake here in the next hour of seeing some storms. This line of storms as the crow flies from Fergus is, well, we'll start with this marker here, about 19 miles away, moving at about 25 miles per hour. So it's still about 45 minutes away from you, which puts it at close to 3 a.m., which is past Hutch Johnson's bedtime. But hey, I'm here with you because you're here with me. And this is a pretty daggone strong thunderstorm here with some signs of rotation. Fargo Morehead, we have this cell moving out of the Kindred area through Castleton. This one here is the one that I do believe has the best chance at impacting Fargo. It's not severe at all at this particular time. We got some Christine rumblers down here moving to the north and east towards Comstock, likely lighting up the area out there. Now, let me see if I can loop this for just a little bit of time. So we get a feel that these storms were moving from the Leonard area, kind of moving in the general direction of Fargo. So I do think that these will impact areas near Horace, West Fargo, maybe up into central Fargo. Not all of Fargo is going to see activity, though, as we're seeing little gaps in between the individual cells here. So keep that in mind. One side of town gets 0.2 of an inch or 0.3 of an inch, and the other side of town gets butkus. So that's how it goes sometimes. Whoopsie, I still got my crayon out here. Okay, let me put the crayon away and go back out to Cooperstown. And oh my, I'm going to pull back up to the Mayville radar here and make sure that I can pull that one up and see it. Okay, now these are moving in on Mayville. We do have some thunder and lightning with them. Now, the Mayville radar does a great job. This is a great example. These storms are really close to Mayville, therefore very close to the radar, and the radar can detect each individual cell out here. There's a lot of individual cells, right? So when I go back and take a look at the radar from Aberdeen, it picks up these storms as well, but I want you to watch closely at what those storms look like. This faraway radar makes it look like everybody's getting rain out here. Absolutely everybody's going to get drenched. It's going to be terrible. Well, I hear from a lot of folks, well, as the storms approach my town, they split and move around me. Not necessarily the case. When a radar sees a storm that's a long way away, the radar beam expands, which makes it look like the whole storm is filled in between the storms. But as the storms get closer to the radar site, it looks like the storms are splitting, okay? So when we go to the close to the radar site storm coverage, we can see the individual cells right here. Nope, not everybody's getting rain. In fact, this part just looks like light rain, if rain at all is even hitting the ground. And this is likely getting soggy streets, and so is this. And in the town of Mayville, right now, maybe not far from the island, we've got some rain making its way right through town as we speak. And yes, it's likely wetting the sidewalks. Is Grand Forks going to see anything? We got another round that's kind of moving into the area. So yeah, Oslo still getting some strong thunder shower activity. The main hail core and thunderstorm, though, that was warned for is now no longer warned. Moving north of Thief River, heading out towards that Grigla area right now. So we got a wave of storms. Upper Red Lake, another one through northern Clearwater, another one here, and all kind of moving and drifting to the south and east. So it looks like a wet night for northern parts of Beltrami County as we go through the nighttime hours tonight. And to add to that, we will have even more following suit on that with a little bit of break in between. Your thunderstorm watch lasts until 6 a.m. I do think there's some hail falling along the Red Lakes area. Ponema here heading out towards Waskish. I think there's a fair chance at isolated hail from that cell, and it could be nickel-sized in diameter. And we do have a couple of cells or hail cores here that are possibly capable of bringing some hail down to the ground as we look at areas in northern Clearwater County, Goodrich, and on out toward the Highway 1 corridor there on the western shore of the lake too. So this is heading towards all of you who may be camping out here on the west side of the lake. It's not severe. We could still see some gusty winds and hail though. So keep in mind, you want to stay away from those tree branches out there because there could be a burp of wind out of those storms that surprises us, and we'll keep you up to date. So how about the cells out here near Bismarck? Are they still strong? They're looking weaker from the Mayville radar, and yeah, they are. They're really starting to rain out there. This Grant County storm has a little bit of vinegar left in it. Out towards Linton and Emmons County, we have a pimple of a cell out there. The main event right now is a heavy swath of rain that's heading through. Look again, from the Bismarck radar, it looks like a huge area of rain making its way through. But when we go to the Mayville radar, we can see the individual cells. Not so much so. It's just little spotty thunderstorms in between. So what's hitting Fargo and when? Here in a little bit. We'll have some rain making its way into town. It does look like it's moving off to the north and east now. So as we take a look at this solid line, here is a look at the metro area and beyond and where these cells are moving. I'm going to put them at about 30 miles per hour. And here we go. Horus 210. That's coming up soon. And again, not every community is going to see this. This is just when that line moves in your general direction. You may be in one of these breaks in the line. Horus, it looks like you could see a splash and dash kind of shower, to borrow a phrase from a friend. Fargo 229. West Fargo a little bit before that, 221. Morehead 230. 2:30 in the morning here. And we'll have a chance for a few showers on the old freshly cut grass at Hutch Johnson's. And that's how it's looking right now. As we take a look up towards Mayville, though, Mayville, Portland, all the way out towards Hope and Clifford, Galesburg, Cooperstown, getting some pretty heavy beneficial rain showers. No hail, just what we want there. Heavier activity now showing up here in the Red Lakes area. And let me go ahead and take a look at the latest forecast model run here before I, well, not dive out, but I'm going to do one more update on this severe storm down here, and then I'm going to check out for just a little bit. Is it possible, Randy asks, that the larger cell by the border has kept storms from developing by Fargo? It is possible. The inflow into these storms is from the southeast. So this guy is taking that moist, humid inflow first. These guys get the leftovers. So there is not as much. So that storm that's really big is possible that it's taking that inflow. As you see what's going on here, there's southeast winds coming up into these storms as well. Great question, Randy. Great observation. And is that a squirrel? Randy, is that a squirrel? Okay, at any rate, I saw a squirrel. Squirrel! Okay, sorry. So here we go. We got strong storms working their way into the western shores of the Red Lakes area. These are pretty stout. As I look at the markers on these, I'll take a look and see if there's any hail cells embedded in this. Right here over the lakes, that purple and blue we see there could be capable of some hail. That one's moving off in this general direction towards all eastern parts of northern Beltrami County. There's another hail core heading toward the west edges of upper and lower Red Lake. These storms here are pretty stout. They're pulsing up, pulsing down. Isolated spots, we'll see, well, nickel-sized hail, penny-sized hail, up to 1-inch diameter sized hail. There could be a few localized gusts that are fairly strong as well. Keep that in mind. It's very difficult to estimate those wind speeds out there with those as well. But this is a pretty cool view here. I'm going to zoom out. This is a map that I love. Shows me the isobars, shows me where low pressure's forming, and it shows me what's going on in our neck of the woods. So as I zoom back into our area, what we have here is low pressures not far from Bismarck. We got this southwesterly flow becoming southeasterly. Southeasterly winds feeding into these storms right now are taking hot, humid air from this area and bumping it up into these storms out here. That's what's feeding these storms, is that southeast inflow. And this is at the surface now. So what's feeding the storms is actually elevated by just a little bit off the ground. But nonetheless, that's what's going on. So again, your observation, Randy, the squirrel there. Oh, chipmunk. I'm sorry, Randall. How'd I mess up my chipmunks? I have to get myself a balloon full of air there and talk about that. Josh's weather, that's good. He says, will we see anything for Thief River Falls tonight, Richard? There have been some storms in and around your area, but it looks like many of them are skirting around you right now. We'll get back into your zoomed in area. Okay, so we have this bad storm right here. And then this area here, what we're wondering about, and what I've been wondering about, is if this area of thunderstorm activity would form a cluster, a low pressure center. And you see this elongation of these isobars here. That's a little extension of the lower pressure right here. So yes, I do think these storms are having a little bit of an impact, creating their own area of low pressure. Let's see if I can even impact the how often it's drawing these isobars. That's kind of fun to look at here. So let me see contour lines. Oh, I've got it at 1 millibars already. So it's already going to show the finer detail. Oop, I think I see one. That's the fine detail I'm looking for. Do you see this there's a little isobar right there. That's the bullseye. So there is an area of lower pressure that's formed by this, I believe, this complex of thunderstorms right here. That one could persist and go right through Lakes Country. We're talking Grant County. If you're in the Morrison-Benson area, you have a chance at seeing this. Douglas County, you as well. Elaine, thank you so very, very much for your contribution to Hutch's weather. You're amazing. Thank you for your kind words and your kind gesture of support for Hutch's weather. I do appreciate that. Going back into this storm down here that I promised you I'd get back to. Ooh, did you see that? It went from having a lot of blues there to just having pinks. This is what's called a composite scan, which takes the strongest reflectivity at all slices through the atmosphere and plots it here. So let's go ahead and go back to the single site data that looks a little more grainy, but has more information from individual slices. And what we can see is the hail core is closer to Wheaton right now. So if you're in Wheaton, expect that possibility for some significant hail to be moving in. 1 inch in diameter is what the Weather Service says. As we go up in the cloud here, it goes from the brighter colors, like that blue that you see there. That's right here. That little bit of blue right there, that's the largest or most intense reflectivity. As we go up, do I see any more blues? I do not. So what does that mean? To Hutch, what that means is even this big storm here is losing the elevated hail in it. The biggest of the stones are starting to fall out. There's no more elevated. So unless it develops another huge or strong updraft, which it could, this storm is decaying a bit now. It may be taking the shape of what we call a high precipitation supercell thunderstorm. Let me check that rotation with you. I don't think they still have the tornado threat on here. They don't say anything about it. So we'll double check that before we go. In Wheaton, there is a little bit of unorganized spin up here from the Mayville radar north of Ross Holt, right on the county line, and state line, I should say. As we go toward the Aberdeen radar and look at that same thing, we are going to see what? Right along the state line, motion away, motion toward. This is still a rotating thunderstorm out here, okay? So we got this rotating thunderstorm working its way into northern reaches of Traverse County right now, heading towards southern Wilkin County and areas south of Campbell, and that would be this area up here by Tinta. So that's where the rotating part of the storm is going. If you're in areas north of Wheaton, the rotating part of the cell is near you. Doesn't mean a tornado's on the ground, but it's worth watching. And in fact, if you're waking up to rumbles of thunder and wind, it's a good idea to just seek shelter in that lowest level possible. Interior room, you woke up already. Even if you have to wake the kids up to get them somewhere safe, it's never a bad idea in a storm like that. So that's my recommendation anyways. As we take a look here at the Mayville radar and we go up north again, Thief River and these areas up here. Let me see what we got going on. There's some bright reds and greens. I'm seeing that for sure. Let's go with the cloud tops, see if it'll plot that for me. Nope. All right. We're going to look at this and see if it works. Okay. So this is the rainfall rate that's happening right now with these storms. So in eastern Pennington County, we have rainfall rates as high as 3 inches per hour from the storms. So some gully washers making their way through eastern Pennington County, northern parts of Clearwater County, and on the northwest corner of Beltrami County. Moving over the upper Red Lake, we have huge rainfall potential. And if you notice this, it's a wide area rain. And this activity is going to move over the same area as this one is now. So we've got heavy rain here, and it's going to last for quite a while on that upper Red Lake corridor and on the shores there of the upper Red Lake. So keep that in mind. Some heavy rain is going to be falling in northern Beltrami County with rainfall rates between 2 and 3 inches per hour. Moving into the Warren area and Alvarado, we have rainfall rates there of up to 4 inches per hour. That's very intense rainfall. And then down south, moving into the Fargo area, a little more isolated thunder shower activity. You can see just little pimples out here with the heaviest of the rain core there making its way south of the FM area. But we will have some rain from these thunderstorms move into and smatter the FM areas with the rain showers as it works its way through. Also, the Highway 200 corridor has had thunderstorm activity for most of the evening. And when we take a look at what's called the storm total precipitation estimates by Doppler radar, let's see if we can see how much rain may have fallen in some of these areas. This is the stuff we need to watch rather closely with regards to flooding potential for water crossings and such. So as we look in, Wells County here, these radar estimates are ridiculous. There's 3 to 5 inches of rain. I saw a 5+. Yeah, let me get in a little closer. So where we see this dark blue here near Bowdoin, 5 inches of rain estimated by Doppler radar. Of course, hail can cause problems with these estimates. But nonetheless, we do have 3 to 5 inches of rain estimated near the Bowdoin area and south of Fessenden. New Rockford, a good 1 to 3 inches of rain estimated by the radar around your area, particularly south of town. As you go towards Carrington, a 1/2 inch estimated by Doppler radar, but south and west of town, it's as high as 1.5 inches. The Highway 200 corridor, which has activity moving in now, has anywhere from a 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches of rain estimated by the Doppler radar. And then Grand Forks County to much of Marshall. Look at Marshall County, Minnesota. North central Marshall County, 2.5 inches south of Carlstead. Get out towards Grigla, a good solid inch of rain estimated here. I hope this works out and pans out and is accurate. But if you check your gauge at the farm, I'll be elated to hear of 3/4 inch to 1 inch of rain in some of these communities. And as we look out on the western edges of the county here, a 1/4 inch of rain. It isn't a lot, but we'll take it. Warren, oh my goodness, 1/10 inch of rain. Nothing for Warren yet. So it doesn't look like we've gotten anything significant. Kitson to Roseau County, 1 to 3 inches of rain estimated there. Badette, you said it was raining heavy, and it's showing up here as upwards of behind Hutch's Melon. Let's see, 1 to 2 inches of rain. International Falls area, 1/2 inch, and southern parts of Koochiching County here, picking up about 1 to 1.5 inches of rain. The big storm that's been drifting along the border, just look at the clarification. That thing started out here. It's kind of skirted right along the border all night long. And as it did so, there are some elevated rainfall estimates here in the Ellendale area and towards Oaks, south of Ellendale to south of Oaks. 1 to 2.5 inches of rain estimated by the Doppler radar. Same thing goes for out here south of Foreman, 1 to 3 inches of rain in that neck of the woods as well. Jamestown not picking up too much. Valley City picking up a little bit more, and out towards Linton about 3/4 inch of rain. So those are some rainfall estimates for you there on Hutch's weather. And I wish we could do a little bit more for you there in the Warren area. I know that it needs to get some rain, but let's take a look and see what this radar shows now. Look at all the lightning with the big beefy storm down here near the South Dakota border. We do have a chance at some rain now, making its way right now into Warren. So we're rooting for you, Warren. Now, this cell and thunder shower, let's give you the idea of motion of this. Is it going to fall apart? Is it going to hit you? Here you go. Check this out. My eyes are crossed. I got to let them adjust to the other radar. Okay, here we go. Okay, sorry about that. So these cells started near Forest River, made their way through Oslo, and now are heading through Alvarado, still fairly stout, and they do look like they're heading almost due east. So Warren, this might be your ticket to pick up 1/10 to 3/10 inch, and I know you needed much more than that. But with any luck at all, some of these trailing showers that are right here and here will also drift through your area. And guess what? To the west of that, there's even a few more showing up. If I go back to my other radar, you can see the intensity of those showers as well. All of this activity focusing in and around Stephen, Argyle, Warren area. Hopefully you pick up some appreciable rain and no hail in your neck of the woods. Will we see anything for Thief River Falls tonight? I'm not sure what you've gotten for rain in your particular area in Thief River Falls, but as I take a gander at the, yeah, that's the Mayville radar. It looks like right now the majority of the thunder shower activity is out of your area, but this activity out here will be drifting in your area if it makes it. So there is a chance at seeing some more rain. Sarah says, my radar shows Badette not going to get that system anymore. Lots of rain here today and tonight, though. Sarah, thank you. Most of this is staying to your south the way it looks right now. We'll go ahead and review real quickly this forecast, and then I'll review that thunderstorm one last time, and then we'll take a little bit of a breather. I need to refill me water glass here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest forecast. I'm going to go with my trusted forecast that's been working all night. This one seems to have this little thunderstorm. Look what goes through Baudette. So if you point to Baudette right now, and I am seeing some showers south of you and into International Falls, it does have things kind of continually, you notice how this whole thing surges and pushes north. I don't see that. I see part of it pushing north towards International Falls, and I see part of it pushing south over the Red Lakes area. Again, this model is just not my favorite tonight. So let's see what this one does. Yeah, I kind of like this one. This is it. There are some Lake of the Woods County showers as we go towards daybreak, drifting in from this stuff that we see along the border here. Not too heavy, certainly not what you've had all night. And then, Sarah, as we go through the overnight, this activity moves through Bemidji and pushes out. All the activity we have here making its way into the Traverse County area kind of mingles in and around maybe Wadena County, Todd County, and out towards the Brainerd Lakes area. Will that thing stay stout? This model says it should fizzle out, and everything kind of fizzles out and moves out until tomorrow afternoon. So we can all hope that that's how it goes. So I think you're right. I think that's what's going to happen. And just looking at the radar scans, these cells moving through northern Beltrami County right now are strong. I do think there's some hail up to nickel in size in many of those. If you do have a hail report there in the northern reaches of Beltrami County, throw it Hutch's way. Otherwise, one last look at what's heading in the general direction of you folks in Elbow Lake and Grant County and Wheaton. A hail core continues. Whoops, I clicked on the wrong thing here. Okay, moving into Wheaton. Boom, we've got a hail core making its way over your area. Hail up to around 1 inch in diameter was the last check. Let's see what we got now. 1 inch and 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Yeah, this storm is moving due east. So if you're in Herman and Barrett, Hoffman, these areas will have a chance at seeing this storm. It has shown a decrease in intensity over the last several scans. To show you that, I'm going to go to the looping radar over here and here and here and here. And let me go back a bit. While that's loading up, we'll go ahead and take a look at it right here. In fact, when you watch this puppy moving through, you can kind of see how it's decreasing in aerial coverage here from the monster it was over an hour ago. Still had that inflow, but it's kind of just, it's becoming less organized, and let's hope that trend continues. So that's what we have going on. That's the one game in town south. We have the thunderstorm watch in effect for all of these counties in yellow here until 6 a.m. These thunderstorms actually extend all the way out towards Carrington still, so we still have a smattering of thunder and lightning going on as we look out west in Sheridan County and Wells County working its way this way. There has not been a thunderstorm warning. Boop, we got a flood product out here. Remember the 5 inches I just showed you in Bowdoin? We do have a flood advisory until 4:15 for minor flooding in low-lying areas. 1 to 4 inches of rain has fallen. So flood advisory, the Bowdoin area, Sykeston area of areas south of Fessenden and central and southern reaches of Wells County, a flood advisory is in effect. So that's what we have going on there. And it looks like the storms continue to be strong. To me, this is the main game in town. There's no storms forming south of them right now. They have all the inflow, they have all the energy, and they're kind of drifting along this boundary, moving in a due easterly direction. That means if you are in Thief River, you do stand a chance at seeing a little more activity in your area. Hopefully your neighbors to the north in Marshall County get that, or get some of that as well. So for now, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. The main risk tonight will be some hail up to around 1 inch in diameter, maybe as large as 2 inches in a couple of these storms that form in an isolated fashion out ahead of the main line here. Moving out of the Thief River area and into Red Lake County now is a cluster of strong storms Waskish, you'll be seeing the brunt of this storm here moving off of the upper Red Lake very shortly. And then also another storm will be moving in behind it across both upper and lower Red Lakes here shortly. And then after that, you've got a third cell that will be passing over your area. Very heavy rain in northern Beltrami County will likely accumulate as a result of that. Fergus Falls, we have a wind report here, 65 mile per hour gust reported by a Mesonet station at Victor. So again, 65 mile per hour Victor, South Dakota wind gust reported by this strong thunderstorm that's south of the Fargo area. I'll put it up on the radar here. Here is the storm that caused the 65 mile per hour gust as it worked its way through Roberts County, 4 miles northwest of Victor is where that report was. So that's what we have going on right now. I'm going to step aside for just a moment. Storms could become severe tonight, and there is one warning right now in this area of Wheaton, this 1-inch hail diameter cell moving off to the east. It's moving at about 35 miles per hour, heading in the general direction of you folks in the Grant County area. I'll keep you updated right here. You're watching Hutch's Weather. Until next time, stay tuned to me here on Hutch's Weather, and as always, please stay safe.